What's going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and welcome to the Nintendo Switch premiere event. I'm actually recording this live from the hotel in New York City, where we just wrapped up the premiere Switch event. Got to play a bunch of games, check out the system, hold all sorts of JoyCon, and talk to a bunch of people who knew quite a bit about the system. Ended up playing a good chunk of the games. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We played 1-2 Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, ARMS, Snipperclips, and maybe one or two others that I'm forgetting at this time. But I want to give you guys my overall thoughts / hands-on impressions from playing the thing for 4 hours. The system obviously releases on March 3rd for $300, and while the presentation was a little weird and the launch lineup is definitely lacking in numbers, only 5 titles now has been confirmed on launch day. My entire experience today was very, very, very solid. I still think the strongest point of this whole box is the idea behind it, the ability to be flexible, to be mobile, to be portable, to be a home console, to be a multiplayer machine, and to be all of it at once. I think it's really, really impressive how the many form factors function and work together at such a high level of quality and consistency. Never did it feel cheap or tacky. Never did it feel like I was getting a bad or a kitschy or a gimmicky experience. Even when you use the Joy-Cons completely sideways, one per person, like in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it still felt really cool. So let's start from the top here and kind of take you through the controllers, the console, and then the games. The controller with the Joy-Cons on the Joy Grip, the main way to play on TV, is the first way that I played. So the two Joy-Con attach the grip, and this comes with the system, and the main way people will be playing the Switch on March 3rd. So it is a little bit smaller than I expected. All in all, the controllers are their form factor is really comfy and really good, but just a little tiny. I have small hands, so I think some people with bigger hands are going to run into some issues and need to switch over to that Pro Controller immediately. Now, the Pro Controller does not come in the box, but it will be available on launch day for $69.99, which is pricey, but it's a great feeling controller. That Pro Controller is excellent, and ultimately probably my favorite way to play the Switch, just from a pure, best control option point of view. It is definitely the Pro Controller. One thing you'll notice right off the bat about the Joy-Con and the grip is that the analog sticks are offset, and I think they're offset a little too much. Now, they need to be offset in order to facilitate the two-player single Joy-Con multiplayer, but for a game like Zelda, they did feel a little offset. Now, it kind of melded into the background after I started playing because the game itself is that good. The buttons themselves feel good. The shoulder buttons are interesting. There is a trigger as well as a bumper. And again, the small form factor of the Joy-Cons and the grip makes it feel a little cramped, but it was something that I got used to. Interestingly enough, when you separate them, I kind of like the feel of that better, because you do have more room and you can kind of create whatever sort of grip you want with your own spacing and your own hands. Now, the Joy-Con themselves are still tiny, but again, this is supposed to be a portable and a home console. It is a dual-purpose device, and therefore, I think they needed to make this a bit smaller than, an Xbox One controller or something of that nature. It just would not have looked right. It would not have fit right. It would not have felt right on the Switch. Now, you can also pop those Joy-Con off the grip and attach them onto the tablet itself, and from there, it holds probably its coolest look, because now you're holding the screen right in front of your face. The screen is bigger than I expected it to be. I mean, not literally, but just feel and look-wise. And it feels pretty darn good weight and ergonomic-wise while holding that. It is not going to be a nuisance to hold in terms of heaviness, and it does not have sort of the awkward feel or spacing of the Wii U gamepad. Instead, it feels really good. They've kind of nailed, I think, the distances and the design when you have the Joy-Con attached onto the tablet itself. The tablet, the Joy-Con click into the tablet very easily. The transition from screen to tablet gameplay was pretty darn quick. It seemed to me, and this could just be the instance where I saw it, or the game itself, or whatnot, I don't know, but it seemed like it took longer to transition from tablet back to TV than it did from TV to tablet. But it was a very smooth transition, and it's something that you could do with ease. And I noticed that they're selling additional docks separately, so technically you could set up multiple of these docks around your house and take this thing on a tour throughout your house, or if you are in college and have a friend who has one, your Switch could dock in their dorm room, and you could continue playing just as well. My only gripe about the tablet itself is the bezel around the screen. I think is too thick. It gives off kind of a unfinished look just in that aspect. I like everything else. I think the screen looks really crisp. The games look great on it. The bezel, I just think it's too thick. You'll know what I mean when you hold it in your hands. It's just a tad thick, where it feels like it's okay. This is like a test unit or something. Other than that, though, I really liked the way that all felt. And the Joy-Con are really interesting controllers. They have nice motion control. They have nice rumble. The haptic rumble is really interesting. We played 1-2 Switch, a game where you have to try and identify how many marbles are stuck inside the Joy-Con, which sounds totally absurd, but it helps you to understand just how fine-tuned the rumble and the sensitivity of these controllers is, because you can just tilt them back and forth and feel individual marbles rolling within the controller, and it's just a really cool sensation and a really cool way that these Joy-Con have been sort of decked out. Even if they're small, they are mighty, and that is very cool. I felt like the motion controls worked really well, and I felt like the gyro controls worked super well on the Pro Controller as well. I played Splatoon 2 on that Pro Controller, and that felt fantastic. Again, probably the best way to play. Just again from a more traditionalist standpoint, and if you're looking for the most comparable PS4 Xbox One experience, it is via that Pro Controller, and they have a cool look to them. The grip and the Pro Controller have a slight opaqueness to them, a little bit of see-throughness. It's kind of cool. I definitely love the look of the neon Joy-Con, and I hope that they eventually release different color Pro Controller, because I'd love to make those match. Eventually even a dock that is neon. I'm sure they'll eventually go that route. They have a grip now that is neon red, so I'm sure that stuff is coming in the future. The dock is very little as well. It's a very portable whole thing. The whole enchilada is very portable. I played on tablet mode, and that is where I really noticed the screen is a great size. I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with Becca, and we battled it out, and had no issue playing. I didn't feel like the screen real estate was too small. I didn't feel like it was cramped, and though the Joy-Con are small, it does work for that on-the-go, very convenient multiplayer. I think that it is a little small, again, and I do have small hands, so those individual Joy-Con are going to be tricky for people with larger hands if you're looking to do that one Joy-Con multiplayer, especially the L&R buttons, the pseudo L&R buttons that are on the interior, the inside edge of the Joy-Con where they would attach to the tablet. Those are very small buttons, and I think anyone with sizable fingers may feel it's a little bit not as precise. I feel like for Mario Kart, it worked 90% well, 85 to 90% well. Ideally, if I was really in a tournament or a big battle, I would have loved to have more control and more just a specific ability to manipulate the buttons at a little bit of a quicker pace and with a little bit more spacing. But again, the cool thing here is just how flexible and functional this thing is, and the fact that it does work 85 to 90% perfect in terms of feel in all these form factors is great. You want to do ideal, you just dock it and grab a Pro Controller. Now you're at 100. But the fact that you can take this on the go and do all that is really cool, and it's something that I look forward to using, and hopefully a lot of games, at least ones that Nintendo creates, take advantage of that. If nothing else, playing Breath of the Wild on the go is going to be remarkable, because that game is absolutely fantastic. If we go into the games a little bit, I got to play about 20 minutes of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It was the beginning of the game, and it's a nice setup. It introduces you to a lot of the more tutorialized elements: equipping clothes, finding weapons, attacking, using your Sheikah slate to interact with the environment, and being introduced to the world. It's a massive world. I saw numerous Zelda demos that all took place within the same map square or same map circle, and there's so much beyond that, and yet this felt like a packed in entire world. I love the combat. There's some really nuanced, nice touches to the combat. It's really cool to pick up different weapons. We saw all sorts of different weapons today: swords, clubs, mops, spears, and then the arrows are really cool. The bow and arrows, different variety of bows, and the fact that you can, while gliding, go into slow-mo and fire that bow from the sky is a really, really nifty touch, and it just looked absolutely incredible. I love the aesthetic of the game. I think the colorful palette really does Zelda a lot of good. It's a big, bold game, and it's a bright, beautiful game, and that combination is just, it's a remarkable moment when you're walking, you see a giant monster in the distance, or you see, a lake to the left and a mountain to the right, and, eventually we're going to see snow and Goron and all these different creatures and characters we saw in the trailer, and there's voiceover. It feels a little weird in a Zelda game, but I love it. I'm hopeful that there's more plot here. I think that's a welcome and needed addition for the game. I played Zelda back at E3, but now playing on the Switch, this is obviously the way to play it. It ran very smooth, it looked very good, and it runs 900p docked and 720p portable, so it's a very pretty game. I was impressed overall with how Nintendo has, even since Wii U, evolved their aesthetic. Super Mario Odyssey, the trailer in person, and that gameplay looks just astounding. It's notably better than 3D World, I think, and the way that they've sort of fused the colorful, silly Mario look with some more real-world style environments is just a really great contrast, and it looked phenomenal in person on a big TV. So Zelda was fantastic. Got to see some other demos of Zelda where they went and tamed horses, registered the horses. You can register the horses, name them, call them from other stables. Got to see a little bit of a dungeon, a small dungeon. There's, over 100 little dungeons, and then obviously more substantial dungeons. We haven't seen any of the more substantial dungeons or boss battles yet, so looking forward to that. Did see a Guardian be battled, which is a big bad guy, and I really like the effect that it doesn't seem like there is scaling. Like, you can run into really tough enemies and get just smashed, and I love that. I think it's really great to have that sense of exploration where you are going to come across creatures that are not only big in stature, but also in their ability to wipe you out quickly. The gyro controls on the bow and arrow looked and felt good, or you can do it manually. It's just a perfect game. It really is. I think that thing is going to be just notably excellent in every category, and today was just a nice reassurance that, thank God, this thing is coming on March 3rd, because one, it's amazing and we need it, and two, they need a showstopper to carry that thing, the Switch, into the summer, because they don't have a lot of titles releasing at launch or in the spring. Moving along, we played 1-2 Switch, which was a cool party game. I was impressed with how well the JoyCon worked in a variety of fashions. Like I mentioned, that marble game. There was also the Milk the Udders, which seems to be the meme-ified game from that title. The Quick Draw, and they were showing 6, but there's even more games there, and I think it's going to be a nice Wii Sports alike, a Nintendo Land alike, and it just has a cool aesthetic because it's a lot of like real-world photography and actors, and then you kind of as the players of the game. I don't know, it had a really cool look, and I think it's going to be a hit party title, and it doesn't have the Mii aesthetic, it doesn't have the Mario aesthetic, so maybe it does appeal in a way that the past titles seem more kidified, and even though this is still silly actions and charming gameplay, I wonder if they purposely went with that to appeal to a plethora of people. Got to play Splatoon 2, which is excellent as Splatoon 1 was. It felt very similar to Splatoon 2. I was talking to Zach Scott Games, who is a huge Splatoon player, and he noticed some small nuances that were different in terms of like the splat roller flinging in a smaller arc, a more narrow arc. There are new weapons, new special weapons, new maps, new aesthetic items. The one thing that we didn't get any info on was if there'd be a new single player. I think that's going to be critical to that, and I really hope there is, because the single player in Splatoon 1 was really enjoyable, and a really nice addition, and rounded out that package. The multiplayer felt great. I played on the Pro Controller, and the gyro controls were excellent. Like I said, it worked flawlessly. I was getting 1,000-point rounds before long again, and reestablishing that Splat God status that I love doing back on the Wii U. It's not going to turn any heads visually, because it does look like this slightly crispier version of Splatoon 1, and I'm really curious to see how they justify this as a sequel, and I hope that a single-player campaign, new campaign, is part of that justification. I got to play ARMS, the new IP from Nintendo, which has an amazing aesthetic. People have compared it to Overwatch, and that's definitely true. It has a very Overwatch-style look to the characters and the colors, and the gameplay itself is fun. It is a frantic-paced duel of boxing and jumping and dashing. Now, at this sort of an event, everyone is going to be mashing, so that's kind of how it went. But I was trying to find some more of the intricate moves and talk to the guy there about, what all can you do, and there is more. You can move forward, back, left, right. You can dodge and dash. You can block, things that I'm sure there'll be even more enhanced moves. Who knows? Maybe there's even combos and different things. But it's a really cool idea, and I think that'll be another fun, fast-paced way to utilize the Switch. And it shows off, again, the Joy-Con's flexibility and prowess, because, like I said, small but mighty. The gyro controls on those punches, you can even curve punches. It all felt really good. It took a little bit of getting used to aim your punches. I don't know, how well everything was synced or whatnot. But it was a very fun time, and I hope that game is expanded beyond just those one-on-one arena duels. I'm assuming it's multiplayer only, but heck, they could surprise us with a single player, sort of like the original Splatoon did, or at least maybe a variety of modes that I think could be very fun. Now, we also got to play some smaller titles like Snipperclips, which is a really cool game. It's a co-op focused game with two little pieces of paper, basically completing these co-op challenges with some of the weirdest moves I've ever seen. It's a really zany idea, but it worked super well and was really fun. You're able to cut pieces off your opponents, make them sharp to pop balloons, turn them into basically cups in order to hold balls and carry them into hoops. You have to make different shapes with each other and cut each other and re-put each other back together. It's just a really cool minigame adventure. And then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is Mario Kart 8 with new characters and the resurgence of battle mode. I got to play Bomb on Battle from the Mario Kart Double Dash and the more original balloon battle. Now, one thing that is new is you can get sidelined in this, which means you run out of all your balloons, you get put to the sideline, and you come back with what seemed to be half of your total. So you are going for a score here, so it is a little bit of a twist on the typical battle mode. You're going for a score. So, for example, I was in first place on the good old SNES battle course, and I had 10 balloons popped, I guess, 10 kills, 10 whatever you want to say. I got sidelined, I lost all my balloons, and I came back in with 5. And then, it was on a 3-minute timer, and you had to try and, regain those lost kills or those lost attacks or those lost balloon pops. Some people probably will wish that it's just straight up 3 balloons and you're done, and maybe they do have that mode in there. I didn't see it today. Also did races with King Boo, Baby Bowser, and the Inklings from Splatoon, which is cool. No sign of new courses race-wise. The presentation did not mention them. The guy there did say that there would be new courses, so not sure what the truth is on that. That game isn't coming out until April 28th, so I'm sure we'll find out. But that was a really great example of setting the tablet into tablet mode, tabletop mode, whatever you want to call it, putting the little kickstand down, and then using the Joy-Con, either just me or me and a friend playing multiplayer, and that is where I think that was a really great example of clicking how this thing can be effective in so many scenarios. And I wish that Mario Kart was coming out at launch, because I don't know that anything else really harnesses sort of the full ensemble. Mario Kart can be played on the TV. Mario Kart can be played in tablet mode. Mario Kart can be played with split Joy-Con. It can be played with the Joy-Con grip. It can be played with 2 players and 1 Joy-Con each. You could get. One thing I'm not sure, and I don't know if it's been revealed, but I'm curious how many players you can do on a single tablet. I know on TV you can do up to 8 Joy-Con, but can you do 4 player split screen on Mario Kart Deluxe? Not sure. Just on the tablet, I mean. Obviously, you will be able to on the TV. But I don't know. You look across the lineup: Zelda, 1, 2, Switch. Are any of these going to really showcase as well as Mario Kart 8? And I know Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is not a brand new title, but it was a brilliant example of how all of this fits together and how the Switch can be just such a multi-headed monster in terms of uses. Last but not least, I saw over the shoulder people playing Super Street Fighter, or Street Fighter 2, it's Street Fighter 2, Bomberman R, which looks pretty cool, Skylanders Imagineers, which is Skylanders Imagineers, there was Puyo Pop, and I think that was about it. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments below. I'll probably be making another follow-up video once I'm home and have sort of a chance to catch my breath. Really looking forward to that Mario game. I think that looks phenomenal, and it was exciting to hear Miyamoto say that it is a core Mario game in the vein of 64 and Sunshine. He considered Galaxy and 3D World to be casual, and this is going back to more of the core side of things. So all in all, the event really lived more up to expectations than the presentation. The presentation kind of left me confused and bummed, but once you get your hands on the thing, I think it really is a cool and unique and, most importantly, well-executed system for 2017. The launch lineup is lackluster. It's missing some major hits that we expected, but Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think, is going to be the game of the year next year, and for like the general consensus. For me, it may be Mario, it may be Horizon, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But I think Zelda is just so good, and it seems like the Switch is really going to make that the best place to play the new Zelda. And like I said, cool experiences from 1-2 Switch, Snipperclips, Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now we just need more games. We need consistent games, and we need to know about them and have it be up front, because we don't want to get in a Wii U situation where it's confusing and people are turned off. I think that this thing in your hands sells itself way better than the Wii U. It reminded me of the Wii. When you play motion controls for the first time, you're like really impressed by the tech and by the idea. I was really impressed by the tech and the idea of this. I think it's pretty remarkable how different it is from the PS4 and the Xbox One, even from the Vita and the 3DS. This is a brand new concept, a brand new idea, and it's executed with extreme prowess. And so for that, I got to give them a major kudos. I really enjoyed my time at the event. I had a blast playing the Switch. I am sad that I don't get to play it for 7 more weeks, but I cannot wait to dive into Zelda. Cannot wait to mess around with some of the multiplayer fare with my friends and family, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming slate of Mario Kart, Splatoon, and the eventual Super Mario Odyssey. I'm a little worried about the sizing of the controllers for some people. The bezel is a little bit too much, and I do wish that they had more games. But other than that, it was a very fun event and a very, very cool chance to sort of see a brand new kind of console, and it really does stand apart. Not in the kinds of games you'll play, not even necessarily in the way that you'll play, sort of how motion kind of defined that era, but just the organization, the way that this is blended together. It's a really unique mix, and I really, really like it, and I'm really excited for March 3rd. So the standouts to me are the multi-functionality of the controllers and of the unit itself. Zelda Breath of the Wild is brilliant, and some of the smaller fare, like Snipperclips and ARMS, is actually really cool. And Mario looks phenomenal, Splatoon looks phenomenal. So all in all, I was very, very happy with the Switch itself, and really looking forward to launch. So I hope you guys are as well. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry about the slightly awkward audio recording this, like I said, live from the event. I just want to get it to you as soon as possible. But that is my hands-on recap and review of the world premiere event. Big thanks to Nintendo for inviting me and bringing me out here. It was a blast, and I hope you guys enjoyed it vicariously through me via pictures and now videos like this. So thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Until next time, drink some hot chocolate. I love you, and we will see you all later.